Yesterday, without even paying attention, we switched to page 160A. We were on 159B, and throughout the way, I didn't even say it out loud, which is not important. We switched to 160A, and this is where we're going to continue in the land that it says Vayalu Negev. If you remember, I don't want to repeat what I said the last couple of days. Just we're talking right now that we are explaining. This is Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai already, not Rabbi Abba or Rabbi Yehuda or other of the students. It's Rabbi Shimon explaining the text in Parashat Shelach, how it's referring to the world above and not necessarily to Eretz Israel, or at the time was the land of Canaan, as the spies went to check it out. So he says, Vayalu Negev, and they came up from the Negev, Vayavo ad Hebron. They all came up in the Negev, but only one person, Caleb, went to Hebron. Vayavo ad Hebron. He came to Hebron. What is it really saying? Vayalu Negev, when it says it went up in the Negev, it comes to hint to me, Bnei Nasha Salkin Bagava. Bnei Nasha is human beings. They sit and apply learning Torah. Banegev, what does the Negev mean? Yalu means, Yalu is that they're sitting and learning Torah. Banegev, what does the Negev mean? Negev is the desert in the south of Israel. But here he says, Beliba atzla keman deishtadel b'magana ben givo. This is lazy heart and also a liver, like somebody that is doing something for free, but in a very dry way, without any excitement. He says lachluchit. Lachluchit is some moisture, because in the desert there's no water, there's no humidity there. No humidity or excitement of chayut, v'simchat lev v'zrizut, and a jolly, happy heart, and doing the mitzvah very quickly. So that sounds kind of familiar to many people. They do the Torah. There's no excitement. There's no fire there. They just do it like a heavy heart. There are a lot of people that just read the text. Here says a lazy heart. You do it, but you're with the head on the table. And there's no excitement. They do the Torah, but nothing there going on. The chashiv, it's considered delet ba agal. Why? Why is the person will do that? Because he doesn't understand that he's going to get a reward. If I will now tell you now, can you clean here the floor? Now you don't want to now seem not a nice guy or whatever. You're like, yeah, okay. And you start sweeping. And you don't really sweep. You do it not so great. But if I would come and tell you, now you don't know if I might tell you at the end of the sweep, oh, here's $100 for you, thank you for your job. But I didn't want to tell you that in the beginning. Now, since you don't think there's any money involved, so you're like, oh, yeah, okay. You kind of like wipe it. But how would you react if I come and tell you, would you sweep the floor for $200? Yeah, mop too. You want me to mop? I also dust the windows. So why is the person doing or performing or learning the Torah with laziness? Because he doesn't think that there's going to be any benefit here. This is why I'm very happy that I was born not religious. Because if I was born into a religious family, most likely when the age of 15 I would be going away from the religion. So that way I was born not religious, not observant, so I can come back. So I feel sometimes bad for the ones who are born into it, because they're doing it like a machine. Because they were, taught to do that from an early stage. And I wouldn't even say condition. I would just say they were placed into it. They don't know anything else. They're like programmed to do it. You said condition, you said program. The same idea. You get the point. When you do something, when you do something, nobody's forcing you to do it. You came by yourself to the realization. I'm saying you because everybody in this room they came to it. It's like converts. Why a convert is in the Torah considered in a very high level? because the convert chooses to do it. Nobody puts a gun to your head. She came by themselves to the realization, went through hell, and now they're choosing to do it. That's a different level of service of God. And I'm saying that the importance of a convert, because many people think converts are second-class citizens, but chas v'shalom, but the Torah warns us about many things. And usually it will warn us more when something is important. How many times it says in the Torah not to kill? How many times it says in the Torah not to steal? So for example, on desecrating Shabbat, we have 12 warnings. Killing is only 3 warnings. I mean, there's other, lo tamod al damrecha, one can consider that another one, but how many times the Torah is warning us about respecting and honoring and being patient and understanding with a convert? 36 times. So obviously the Torah found it pretty important. So, but what's the difference here? And I consider a Baal Tshuva or a convert the same idea. Because I chose to do it. Nobody forced me to do it. And I wasn't born into it. That I'm doing it like a pre-programmed machine. And the sad reality is that I see many people who are born into the Torah and they're doing it with no excitement. Because that's their way of life. They don't know much other. I'm not saying it as a general rule. I'm just saying I experienced many people who were born into it, that it's, how did he say? Dry. There's no moisture. There's no, like a machine, there's no oil. It's squeaking. And again, not chas v'shalom trying to put anybody down. Everybody's efforts are important and amazing. But I'm just making a point that usually a Baal Tshuva and a convert, they come in with a completely different attitude because they chose to do it. They weren't programmed into it. Now, the Baal Tshuva and the convert, in most cases, don't do it for a reward. They do it because they realized what's going on. But a person who was born observant, and please don't take my words out of context. I know a lot of people who view the videos are born observant, as they call it, from birth, observant from birth. And I'm not saying your Torah is worthless. I'm just trying to, for making an observation, that I have seen many that are born into the Torah that there's not much of excitement. I did see many that they do have the excitement. That's not the point what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say here is sometimes people need a little push to do the Torah and mitzvot, and a Baal Tshuva and a convert can say, you know what, of course I'm going to get a reward from what I'm doing, because I have to clean 40 years of a mess that I did, so I don't want to come up to the heavens and be judged for all the junk that I accumulated. Of course I need a reward here. I need to be forgiven for everything that I did. But in many cases, a person will say, I'm not getting any reward, why bother? But the reality is that everybody gets a reward. Even if you didn't put much effort, there's going to be a reward. A little bit, but there's going to be something. The person, when a person works in this world and he gains something, he sees the wealth or the reward. If I go and invest time and I learn and I go start a career and for 10, 20, 30 years I work hard, at some point I see the reward. I can come to the age of 50, 60 and say, Baruch Hashem, the last 40 years paid off. I have property, I have money, I have achievements, I have whatever it is. In this world, it's very easy to see the reward. In this world, it's very hard to see the reward of my spiritual work. Sometimes you see it, but in many cases you don't see. Chashiv decholahu b'negev, and he thinks that everything that he does, it's like a desert. I don't see any reward. I've been working 10 years, coming to the minyan and praying and giving charity and learning Torah and fulfilling the mitzvot. I don't see anything. I just see problems, challenges, and all sorts of problems. I don't see the reward here. So he considers everything like a desert. I don't see nothing here. And now he's giving a proof or something to support that the word negev, perusha yovesh. The word negev, how do you say in Hebrew, for the ones of you who know Hebrew, when I spill water on the table, what do? I dry the table. How do you say it in Hebrew? Lenagev. So Negev comes from the word yovesh, something dry. So the desert, the Negev, is not the Sahara or another desert. This is Negev. The desert, Negev, comes from the word, it's dry. So sometimes one can look at it that my servants of Hashem is dry. There's no excitement or no fire there because it's like a desert, Negev. There's no excitement. On the other hand, a person can work, serve Hashem, and I don't see anything. There's no reward. I didn't get a check at the end of the day. If you would get some type of an email once a month with a report, this month you did great, you showed up to all the minyanim, you learned Torah, you performed all the mitzvot. Can you imagine getting an email like that? You know, once a month we have a very popular YouTube channel. The videos go on YouTube. Once a month I get an email from YouTube, how great I did. This past month you have 5,000 new subscribers, 500,000 new views, 37 million minutes of Torah. I have a video. I get a report. It's very impressive, the report. I'll send you sometimes the report. You won't even believe of the report. The quantity, how many views, how many subscribers, how many minutes of videos. The report shows you how well you did. I didn't ever get a report from Hashem says, you know, the last month you were doing pretty good. You made it to all the minyanim. You learned a lot of Torah. You were very nice to your wife. You were very charitable to many people. I never got such a report. So one might say, well, it's like a desert. It's dry here. I'm not getting any feedback here. Kama de'at amar, as it says, charvu hamayim. This is a verse from the book of Bereshit, chapter 8. It's talking about the flood of Noach, and it says charvu hamayim. Doesn't make much sense because charvu comes from the word chorban. So the water got destroyed. Yeah, but the water is what destroyed? But nevertheless, what is the translation of the word charvu hamayim? Umetargeminan. What was the translation? Negivu. Negivu means is they wiped it. What did the water do in the flood? They wiped the face of earth. The water disappeared at some point. They went back to their source. And I mean, for the first, we don't know how long the water was out there. And Noach opened the top, sent the crow, didn't want to go, sent the dove. In the beginning, there was nothing, it was just water. And then was a certain period of time that the water either went down, went up, whatever it was. But at some point, the water went back to its original shape. Now it's not the time to elaborate on that, but you know that before the flood, there was only one continent. There wasn't 7 continents. It's interestingly, because I learned that in geography class when I was, in 5th or 6th grade, when we cut the continents and put it together like a puzzle. Then when I became observant, I thought, okay, that's probably some evolution hoax. But we do know that before the flood, there was one continent. Shlomo Melech says, "V'chatzva amudei hashiv'a," that the continents got broken into 7 and split into 7 continents. The geography will tell you it took 40 billion years. Shlomo Melech tells you it took one slap of Hashem and everything cracked. And then the water showed in between because the flood did demolish the land. Nevertheless, if you remember, I gave all the sources and all the text where it's coming from in one of the last lectures. I don't want to elaborate on that. Let's continue. So just to conclude this short paragraph, when it says Vaya'alu b'Negev, they went up in the Negev, so it's referring to this service of Hashem with no excitement on one hand, everything is dry, then one needs to take from that a big lesson. Can't serve Hashem with no excitement. On the other hand, one can not serve Hashem without excitement because one doesn't see necessarily the reward. It takes a very big man or a woman to continue serving Hashem with excitement without getting any reward, and worse than that you're getting punished all the time. Most people, especially when they do tshuva, they're not getting boxes of chocolates delivered to their home. Then first comes a financial disaster. Then will come other physical disasters. I don't know many Baalei Tshuva or converts that everything, they were greeted there with beautiful flowers and chocolates. Usually it's a disaster after a disaster after a disaster, and then when you finally get your balance, another disaster, which is good news. It means the Kadosh Baruch Hu is accepting your tshuva and He's starting to cleanse you. If you did tshuva and nothing happened, you better be very worried. You know, the Talmud says, if a person doesn't have any hardship for 40 days, start becoming very concerned. Because it means Hashem is not paying attention for 40 consecutive days. So if everything is smooth in my life, that's not a good sign. I always say that if in the first 48 hours after Yom Kippur a disaster happens, say thank you, Kadosh Baruch Hu accepted my tshuva, that I'm getting the slap right away. If the first 72 hours after Yom Kippur till Sukkot everything is smooth, be very, very unhappy, because it means that maybe your tshuva was not accepted. Most people are happy, everything's good, Hashem. No, because if your tshuva was accepted on Yom Kippur, then the Motzei Yom Kippur, you already get some notification that the boiler exploded, now you have to pay 10,000 shekels. Or somebody suing you, chas v'shalom, or something happens, oh, Baruch Hashem, the tshuva is accepted. Let's start doing the process, the cleansingness. So one has to be very, very strong spiritually to understand that even if there's not a reaction, it doesn't mean that what I'm doing is wrong. It just means the complete opposite. Because if Hashem accepts my tshuva, then what would be the next stage? Let me start cleaning you. And how do I get cleaned? It will come with hardship. It's not going to come with flowers. It will come with a lot of hardship. Why? Because it has to, the dirt has to be washed off. So it says that when they came up in the Negev, he doesn't even explain why plural they went up in the Negev, Vayavo leChevron, and only one came to Hebron. Interestingly, the Zohar is not elaborating on that. Later on, I don't know if we'll reach it, it's talking about Hebron, because it says that Hebron took 7 years to build it prior to that arrival. Here he's going to another, he's actually elaborating on that. I think we're going to continue tomorrow, just because the paragraph is long, and it will take some time to explain it. But just to go back to what we're learning in this paragraph, to simplify it, is that we're all striving to satisfy the Kadosh Baruch Hu. We're all striving to become a better individual. I mean, if you're not, then you're not sitting here for the money. Nobody's giving you money here. You're sitting here right now, or you're learning Torah because you understand this is the truth, this is the path of truth, this is the will of the Kadosh Baruch Hu, and there's a much bigger picture than what I see here. There's a spiritual world that is waiting for me. My actions will reap reactions. So a person is doing it because they understand. Nobody becomes observant for anything else but emunah. Like I told you the story with my sister that came to Pesach, asking me if I believe in that. And my conclusion was, what, do you think I'm getting a check for what I'm doing? It can only be emunah. Now if you would go to some religion, there are some religions, some religions tell you just believe in the leader and everything will be okay, right? That's what they teach you in Christianity. You can do whatever sin you want, just believe in Jesus and He will save you from your sins. That's the approach, basically. He will save you. He died in your name. No, He didn't. So the point is that this is not the Torah. The Torah tells you, excuse me? No. You have a long list of things to do, and now you're going to be accountable for what you did and what you didn't do. You can't now lean on some, this is not a Jewish concept that I believe in the leader or the tzaddik, and the tzaddik will redeem me, pull me from Gehenom. This is nonsense. And if somebody tells you that in Judaism, don't believe that. There's no such a thing in Judaism. But anyways, in the Torah, nobody's giving you false hopes. You believe in something, and don't worry, everything will be okay. Torah tells you, no. You have a long list of things to do. If you mess up, you're going to get punished, by the way. But if you don't, you'll get a reward. This is one of the 13 principles. That we have to believe, we have to not only believe in that, I have to read that every day. that I understand that the Kadosh Baruch Hu punishes the wicked people and rewards the righteous people. There's no bribing here with the Kadosh Baruch Hu. So, when a person chooses to become observant and follow the Torah, it's not like another religion that he says, that's a pretty easy religion. I just going to like Hare Krishna. They just say, they say, just say Hare Krishna over and over and over, everything will be fine. So they walk around in circles, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare. Sometimes it's the Chidush, the other way around. And I'm not making fun. I mean, I am making fun, but I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. But I was associated once with somebody, the Hare Krishna. All they have to do is say Hare Krishna. 2 words. That's it. You seal the deal. That cannot be truth. That's if somebody were looking for a way out and saying, oh really? I just chant a few words and I'm done, right? I can kill. I can murder. I can slander. I can rape. I can cheat. I can do whatever I want. All I need to say is a few words. I'm good to go. That's a pretty good system. So the Torah doesn't offer you this system. The Torah tells you, no, nobody's taking responsibility for your stupidity. You have to take responsibility for your actions. So when a person chooses to become observant or to change their faith to become a Jew, you're doing it 100% because it's your will. But at times it might get hard that you're saying, I work so hard and I don't see any reward. Now, sometimes it can take a person 20 years to see something shifting. You don't know how much junk you have accumulated all these years. And I also come back to this world with junk that I accumulated in previous lives, by the way. And many of the times that you go through a challenge has nothing to do with your actions in this life. You're carrying with you baggage from a different life. And then you have to be very happy that something like this happens. You will not know that really that's happening. But that's how our sages gave us the $1 million advice. Kabbalah isurim be'ava. Accept the hardship and the suffering with love. Because that's Hashem's way to wash off the dirt. So, when it says Ve'alu b'negev, and they went up in the Negev, I have to take from that something very practical. My actions, first of all, I'm doing it L'Shem Shamayim. And I'm going to tell you quickly a story. I know we're going a little bit over our time. The Baal Shem Tov was a very holy individual, very high level of Ruach HaKodesh. And he had a Magid. Magid means a little angel that whispers in his ear everything that he needs to know. And we know that Rizal had a Magid, the Yosef Karo, many have a Magid. Magid is like a little angel that whispers information. Anyways, the story says that the Baal Shem Tov, his dream was to come to Eretz Israel, and on one of his journeys, he ended up in Turkey, in Istanbul. And it was right before Pesach. They didn't have matzah, they didn't have wine, they didn't even have a place to stay. But the Baal Shem Tov, he has 100% emunah, nothing to worry about. Happened to be that the second that I arrived in Istanbul with no preparations for Pesach, somebody heard that the Baal Shem Tov is in town, a very wealthy individual, somehow found his daughter, because the Baal Shem Tov used to travel with his daughter, and he called her. And he says, you got to get me a meeting with your father. And okay, so she gets him a meeting, and he told her, don't worry, I'll take care of you of the whole Pesach, you are with me. Okay, so this guy walks into the room, and the Baal Shem Tov, like I told you, had a Magid. So before the person even said anything, the Baal Shem Tov knew exactly what he needs, and he says, I'm giving you a bracha, a blessing, that this year you're going to have a son. And of course, that's the problem was, the person didn't have a kid, a child, for many, many years. And he wanted a blessing from the Baal Shem Tov. So the Baal Shem Tov went and gave him a blessing that he should have a son that year. Right away came out a heavenly voice and said to the Baal Shem Tov, you just lost your entire Olam Haba. Because this person was not supposed to get a child in this world. That was the decree. That was what's supposed to happen to this person. And you now reversed it. Because we know the power of a tzaddik. Tzaddik gozer, v'akadosh Baruch Hu mekayem. The tzaddik says, and the Kadosh Baruch Hu has to do. And they said, because you did not consult with the world above, you did not ask if this person deserves a child or not. You right away gave him a child, you lost your entire Olam Haba. Now, if you would now get a notice that you lost your Olam Haba, you would jump out of the window. The Baal Shem Tov started jumping, smiling, clapping his hand, breakdancing, the whole thing. He was like ecstatic. So the heavenly voice was questioning, why are you so happy? So he says, now finally I can serve Hashem 100% with no reward, because I lost the Olam Haba. So now my service to Hashem is 100% Lishma, 100% to the Kadosh Baruch Hu, with no motives or agenda or any reward here. So right away the heavenly voice says, you know what, now you got double your Olam Haba just because you said that. So, oh no, now he's in bigger trouble. So the point to take from that is my service to Hashem is not for me, it's for Hashem. And I want to reach to a level that I do everything L'Shem Shamayim. Not because I'm worried about my tuchas. I mean, that's more of a slang that I need to take care, worry about my, that's how he said in English, Hebrews say that. But nevertheless, your service to Hashem is first of all to Hashem, because that's His will. Not because I'm going to get a reward, not because maybe He will forgive me. Who says Hashem is going to forgive you? But by the way, you can do tshuva now for 40 years. Who says you have a guarantee that Hashem will forgive you? And if somebody gives you a guarantee, don't listen. You're going to come, because there's only one judge in the universe, and that's the master of the universe. You can make tshuva for 40 years and then go up to Shamayim, they'll look through the book and tell you, sorry, nope, then accept it. Why? I don't have to tell you why. I don't have to tell you anything. So our service to Hashem has to be 100% for the sake of serving Hashem. Happens to be that there'll be a reward, good, I'll take it. But what I need to take from that is even if I don't see any major changes in my life, I can't put this as a condition. You know how many people I heard that they came and told me, I'm doing such shuvah and I'm this and I stopped saying Lashon Hara and I stopped cheating or lying and this. What am I asking for? A little bit of livelihood, parnasah? What am I asking? To meet my other half? It's not fair. This is what? Fair? Where does it say the word in the Torah, fair? It doesn't say that word, by the way. It's not about fair. I'm sure you know the famous question that Rabbi Akiva, one of the greatest leaders we ever had, was murdered brutally, and his students saw it in front of their eyes and saying, Zeh Torah v'zeh schara. That's the Torah, that's the reward he gets for that Torah. And the reaction of the Kadosh Baruch Hu was shtok. That was that reaction. Shut up. Zeh ma shala li b'machshava. That's what I thought of. That's what the Kadosh Baruch Hu said. That's what I feel like doing. Of course, it's levels that we don't understand. And needless to say that Rabbi Akiva and the rest of the 10 martyrs were begging Hashem to die on Kiddush Hashem. But the point is that we do not understand what's going on in the world above or the world below. The point you want to take from that practically, that don't get, how, I don't have to say in cold feet, but don't get disheartened. No, I'm looking for a different word.
Discouraged?
Discouraged maybe more, when things are not working for you as you want, and you kind of start saying, that's not fair, I gave it my heart. And I'm talking about between you and Hashem right now. Not that you helped a person for a whole month and then they turned around against you. That's humans. But many people, the Yetzer Hara will develop some type of animosity to Hashem. Hey, I've been working my tuchas here for months already. I don't see any changes here. So don't get disheartened or, what did you say? Discouraged. Disappointed. All the this. Okay? Because you don't know how far you need to go, and maybe sometimes Hashem says, it's not the time for you to get your other half, or your parnasah, your livelihood, or whatever it is. Hashem decides. He knows better. It's a very important lesson to get here, because I don't see what's in front of me. I'm really flying now on a information of a radar. Sometimes pilots, they fly only with the radar. They don't see what's in front of them. So we're flying only with radars. We don't see what's in front of us. I don't know what's in front of me. Can be a pit in front of me, can be Gan Eden in front of me. I don't see it. I have to go with the radar, and the radar is the Torah. The Torah tells me what to do. If Hashem decides to reward me, then I have to be triple thankful and show gratitude. But I have to show gratitude and be thankful even when things don't work out how I want. Because that's what Hashem wants. Nothing happens in this world without Hashem's approval. Even the worst thing that happens to you, it comes with Hashem's approval. Nothing in the world, no entity, no leader, no world leader, no angel can go behind Hashem's decision. No such a thing. So even the worst thing that happens to you had to get the stamp, the approval of Hashem. So if you have any complaints, then don't have any complaints. Because that's the will of Hashem. This is a lesson of in humility. Accept what the Kadosh Baruch Hu gives you, the good and the bad equally. Even the bad you should accept equally. Because really it's good, by the way. You just don't see it because you're flying on a radar. You don't see that the bad that Hashem did is not bad. He actually saved you from a bigger headache. We just perceive it in a very limited way. So, take out the word negev from the vocabulary. Nothing is dry. Nothing is boring. The Torah, you have to dig hard to find the excitement in everything. Don't accept the reward. You get one, that's great. Be always thankful for the good and the bad, even more for the bad. And remember that you're serving Hashem for His will. I was created to serve Him. And if Hashem wants, He will go like this and I will cease to exist. So I'm doing it 100% Hashem Shamayim. Whatever Hashem decides for me, I will accept. And with that, we'll continue later what it means later with Hebron. There's a big secret behind Hebron. Why Caleb was able to come to Hebron. What's going on there? And why the Torah chose to tell us that Hebron took 7 years to build. Obviously, the Torah doesn't waste words. So, B'ezrat Hashem, this will be continued tomorrow. Till then, just remember that Hashem loves us even when times are hard, when things are not good. Hashem always wants our benefit, and the reward that you will reap, it's sometimes enough at some point down the line that you just understand the maneuver that Hashem did. And as the Mishnah says, Al temshamshu et harav al manat lekabel pras. Don't serve the master for the sake of the reward. And how does it conclude? V'yeh morah shamayim alechem. And you'll have the fear of the heavens on you. רבי חנניה בן הקשה אומר, רצה הקדוש ברוך הוא לזכות את ישראל, לפיכך הרבה להם תורה ומצוות שנאמר, אדוני חפץ למען צדקו, הגדיל תורה ויעדיל.